In this video, we are going to discuss two-dimensional arrays. So previously we've discussed, obviously, one-dimensional arrays, and that just looks something like, and previously we used something called numbers, and it looks kind of something like this, where, you have something at each of these elements, this one holds 7 and 12, and so on and so forth. Well, a two-dimensional array looks something more akin to this. Where what you really have is an array of arrays. And so these are marked 0, 1, 2, 3, and 0, 1, 2, and 3. And so then to access something at it, let's just call this one R. In order to access anything in there, you actually need to specify basically an x-coordinate and a y-coordinate. And so right here, this is 1, 2, and then there's a value stored in there. So to access this element right here, we would do R at 1 at 2. And we'll go ahead and take a look at what that looks like in code. But once you recognize that basically this is just an array, and this is an array, and this is an array, and so on and so forth, it's really not that difficult to work with. But kind of getting that visualization down at first does take a little bit of effort, and it can be pretty confusing. So let's go ahead and, like I said, take a look at how this looks in code. So the example that I have for you here is a pretty common one. It's very, kind of used frequently in homework assignments and things like that for CS1 students. But we may want to keep track of some data across 5 years, each of which has monthly data. And so let's go ahead and we'll just make an int data array. And so if we were just making one array, a one-dimensional array, then this is what that would look like. No problems. We've seen that before, a million times. But a two-dimensional array, we just simply add another set of brackets. And this is created in a two-dimensional array that goes down 5 pretty much. There we go. And then it goes over 12. So it looks, something like that all the way across. You get it. And so we can go ahead and then store all sorts of data in here. And I'm not going to fill this entire array because that is 60 elements. Actually, you know what? I'll go ahead and do that. Why not? I is less than, we'll do years times months. Well, let's just do this. I is less than years. It's very common to iterate across two-dimensional arrays using nested for loops. And likewise, with a one-dimensional array, as I mentioned, we use just one for loop, and then we nest it if we are doing multi-dimensional. And so, quick tip, fun little thing, you can actually have n-dimensional arrays. So we could make this go on and on and on and on. And you can see that this would add up pretty quickly because this is 5 times 12 to the 4th elements. And that's a lot, that's a lot of elements. So we don't really need to do that. So right here we'll just do data at I at j equals, I don't know, I plus j. Let's do that. That sounds lovely. Or we'll do this. I times j, or excuse me, not I times j, I times years plus j. So what this should do is it should give us 0, and then it'll give us 1 and 2 and 3 and so on and so forth, so that when we output it, I need to do something right here. There we go. We will just see basically 0 through 59 is what we should see, unless I'm messing something up, which is very possible. But let's go ahead and take a look. And then we just call this function like we normally would. One thing that is different when using two-dimensional arrays, or multi-dimensional arrays rather, is that in the prototype, in a one-dimensional array, we do not have to specify the size. In a two-dimensional array, you do have to specify the size of the leftmost like array size. I think that it is silly to not just do both of them. In all honesty, just do both of them. It's so much safer and easier and a lot more clear. So just always do both of them in the prototype as well as the function call. So we got 0 through 31. That's probably because I'm just bad at math. Oh, it's because we started over right there because I did I times years instead of I times months. There we go. That looks so much better. Not an issue. And so right here, real quick, I'm just going to add in something to make this look a little bit nicer for you. We're going to say if r at I at j is less than 10, then we're going to see out a 0. Oh gosh, there is a better way to do this using iomanip and set width, but this is just quick and easy. And so we can see 0, 0, 0, 1, all the way up through 59. And this is how you work with a multi-dimensional array.